Hello and welcome to another fantastic afternoon of SCL action. I'm your boy Tom Battinger, joined here by Anatoly A, and we're going to get some European console action starting the day off. Right now, the teams have been jockeying for position for a number of weeks. We'll take a look at how the season has been playing out for each of these teams, and we'll see how everybody's sort of winding up, whether they're on the top or the bottom. Toly, any teams that have been standing out to you?
So far, Rival has been doing a good job in their last win, and this is something that we've been expecting out of Rival. Previously, in the last season, they've been doing a great job coming out of Europe. Unfortunately, falling short, though, in LAN. But hey, this is a new season, and we're still very early here, heading into week number 2 for Europe.
Quantum Esports has been struggling just a little bit, but TMNT for Life is a team that I've been really looking at. These guys came in via relegation, and they're certainly looking very strong, and they'll be our first matchup today against Quantum Esports, who has, like I said, been struggling to find their footing. Team Rival will take on Kaz a little bit later, and then we'll move into North America. But I'm really looking forward to watching TMNT take on Quantum.
Absolutely, and then once we do get into North America, it's going to be my guys against Strictly Business. Should be an exciting matchup for that one. And then to wrap things up, Obey Alliance versus Thor Gaming.
That's really the key. That's the one that I want to take a look at. Obey Alliance, formerly Eager, certainly will be bringing the thunder for that one. And then we'll move on to Return versus Elevate.
It's going to be a very exciting matchup. Elevate has been one of these teams that's been trying to reforge their roster to get back into the thick of things.
Yeah, we'll see how that one works out. But like I said, sticking with the European teams because that's what we're going to start off with. Quantum taking on TMNT. These guys, like I said, TMNT specifically have been looking strong all season for Europe, and I think they're going to continue to do so. Banning out the Thanatos, they don't want to see any of that nonsense in the jungle. Quantum responds with a mid lane ban with Zeus.
Surprisingly enough, whenever you're first pick, you want to dictate a strategy for yourself. So taking away these two global jungler presence, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe TMNT picked the Thor right off the bat to eliminate any counterplay for the global pressure from Quantum.
That's what I was thinking as well, but instead TMNT are going to go for the lockdown that comes via Odin. Now, this is a character, it's the same mentality, though a very different character than Thor. The idea is that TMNT for Life are going to set the pace or the strategy for the match overall. By picking Odin, you're saying that you really can't go into healers safely. And despite the Odin pick, we still see the Isis come out for Quantum.
The thing is, Quantum doesn't necessarily know where this Odin is going to be right off the bat. It could still be a soul laner that's not going to rotate up until level 12 any later on in the game, so the Isis will be left untouched. But now TMT have the option of flexing this Odin pick to potentially the jungle or the support, trying to apply even more pressure to this Isis, shutting her down earlier on.
Even the Sylvanus pick after that. It seems very strange to see Isis and Sylvanus picked into the Odin, but that's what Quantum Esports opts to do anyway, and they'll be the ones selecting the Thor. So the only global presence in the jungle that we're going to see in this game is going to be on the side of Quantum. Medusa and Poseidon join the Odin as TMNT ban out Apollo. I think this is going to be a nice mid-game position for TMNT right now. They don't have any real late game or any real early game, but around that 15-minute mark, I think, Toly, we're going to see a lot of devastation come out from TMNT for Life. Don't be surprised if specifically the Gold Fury is a really big deal in this game.
The damage from these abilities in the mid game between Medusa, Poseidon, even Odin with the Bird Bomb jump is a great combination of things to happen. And Quantum Esports, like you mentioned before, still drafting a composition that's going to get kind of punished and abused by this Odin. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go for an early Phantom trying to negate that cage.
There's the late game for you. Nemesis is going to come through on TMNT, and she'll provide a little bit of a safe haven. If the game goes too long or longer than TMNT for Life originally planned on, like we said, a mid-game composition here for TMNT, then they can lean on the Nemesis for that late-game damage, whether it comes via chin side, tank shredding, depending on how Thor is going to build, or if it's just straight old basic attack smashing. So TMNT for Life, all in all, I like the draft. I'm not in love with it, but Quantum Esports, honestly, if there wasn't an Odin on the other side, I would say that Quantum wins this draft hand over fist, but against the Odin, I'm having some reservations here.
Absolutely. Quantum definitely has more control in their composition between this Ymir, Sylvanus, this double Guardian. Should have enough peels and initiations to make sure that Sirduckbot playing the Isis will have enough of a leeway, having enough space control to get off the stuns and the silences, no problem. But if you look at the flip side, there's also a little bit of control for TMNT. Mr. Turtle here playing this Athena is going to synergize very well with not only Welshbeastq playing the Medusa, but 50-meter Fly playing this Poseidon.
50-meter Fly Not 50mm fly like I called him for an entire season. Welshbeastq is the new acquisition for TMNT for Lyfe. This team played last year and couldn't and fell to relegation, and then this year they played through the relegation with only one change to the roster. Welshbeastq was the acquisition, and he's looked honestly totally really strong. This has been an improvement for the team to say the least, and Welshbeastq over here has just absolutely really wreaked havoc against his opposition.
He's just a beast, and he has a turtle right by his side. It's just another animal affair. How can you handle these two animals?
I mean, it's the zoo lane. That's what you get out of TMNT. Across the way, it's Joeeey and DineOhSaw, although DineOhSaw is going to be joining the right side of the map. You can see chasing down Auzrik and Predators and just invading the jungle here, 4 men strong.
Having Sylvanus rotate this early on in the mid lane, we've seen a lot of teams develop different strategies and starts, and whenever you have the support in the mid lane, especially being paired up with an Isis, that's 2 of the strongest guys that you can have at level 1 to clear. Isis Wingus on top of the Sylvanus, just in hands AoEing it down, and that's going to provide enough pressure to outclear the mid wave, and then you have flexibility of where you really want to go, deciding between invading the speed blue buff side or the red purple area.
Right now, like you said, there was an option, and Quantum opted to just take away the enemy's speed and blue buff. We saw the all-out invade coming out right now, and it's still not enough to keep Quantum ahead. Why are they trailing even though they got the entire jungle?
Well, the left-hand side, Joeeey is left alone, so he did lose his purple and the red buff, unfortunately. So this is what's been happening so far in Season 4 Smite, whether you're looking at the SPL, the SCL. One team's going to invade the right side jungle, the other team's going to invade the left.
There's a little bit of a balancing act that you have to take a look at as you see these teams come together here. We mentioned Welshbeastq joining this team, TMNT for Lyfe, a little bit earlier on in the season, but Quantum also saw a shift in their roster, and that's going to be Sirduckbot, a player that has both played and coached at a high challenger level on the PC side. And he's had his experiences way back when, if I can bring up, in the 3v3 scene of yesteryear. Hyperionnn gets jumped on. It's easy to forget about that damage out of Odin this early. But yeah, shouts to Sirduckbot coming out from where I come from once upon a time on Smite Central 3v3 scene. Certainly a long way since then. Here he is in a pro league, a Smite console league. His performance last week was pretty strong, despite not finding a win. Here he is on the Isis this time around, hoping to turn things around for his team.
Having a lot of responsibility playing the Isis. This is a god that's not the easiest to hit the spirit balls from a distance. Has to make sure that he gets the initial setup before he throws that one out, unless he has enough confidence to be able to be the one sole engager of the team. But with a draft here from Quantum, it seems like they definitely drafted around the Isis. They picked the Isis and the Sylvanus first immediately, despite Predators locking in that Odin right off the bat.
Which was very strange to me. I mean, so when you look at Sylvanus and Isis, they're not straight healers. It's not as if they went Hell Guan Yu, right? So there's certainly a different story there. But the Isis into the Odin is still, even without thinking about the healing negation coming out from the ring out of Odin, you still have to worry about the fact that you're just stuck in a ring.
That's very true, but you still have a lot of utility playing the Isis. Even if you are stuck in that ring, you're going to have damage mitigated with that circular protection. It's going to give you a decent amount, so making sure that you're still going to survive against the huge burst potential between the Kraken or the Petrified. This is the options presented for Quantum.
Kraken comes out onto Sirduckbot, bringing him down just a hair above half HP. Really more defensive than anything else right there. 50-meter fly pops to Kraken to ensure that Quantum can't come back on top of him underneath the tower, but Hyperion's going to take to the sky looking for Auzrik and lands right on down, misses the target, but you can't miss that one. DineOhSaw pops his ultimate. Hyperion's in more trouble than it's worth, but Auzrik goes down to the hand of Coach Killy. Predator's in trouble now. Raven Shield helps him out just a hair. Duckbot with a great silence. Can they finish the kill? Basics are good, but Duckbot doesn't have the cooldowns, and Predators walks away to live another day, but he loses the jungle. Speed buff is gone already, totally, and blue buff is next.
We never talked about this at the beginning of the game, but DineOhSaw did elect to go for that Phantom. He recognized that Odin would be a threat immediately, and that's just a smart pickup because supports usually take a long time to hit level 12 anyway. One of the later stages of the later gods, rather, to be able to get to level 12, usually trailing behind. So picking it up immediately, giving them the first blood advantage, extending their lead even further, invading more buffs.
Nice taunt on a Hyperionnn right into the damage out of Poseidon, but not enough to take his life. With respects to the relic conversation, keep an eye on Predators wrapping around. That could kill Hyperionnn, but instead the target will be Coach Killy.
Nice
Slow down, and here's help from Athena. He's locked, and he's stuck in the wall. Down comes both ultimates, and 50-meter fly puts his team on the board. It's tied 1-1.
I said nice wall to start things off until I realized that Coach Killy was actually stuck in that Thor wall. So a little bit of tunnel vision there, unfortunately, for Hyperionnn. He wanted to block off those two members of the opposing team, but he didn't take into consideration that would also block in Coach Killy at the same time.
I mean, that was a perfect, beautiful wall if Thor's on the other team. That's the problem right there. Hyperionnn 100% killed Coach Killy. Sometimes you see these projectiles, these walls, these obstacles come out, and maybe he could have walked around. Maybe he just got stuck in between the wall and the rock.
And it also seemed a little bit of a disconnect between Hyperionnn and Killy, wanting to go for those fire giant elementals.
Right.
We saw Hyperionnn back off, realizing that they didn't have the numbers advantage. They were getting collapsed on from underneath as well as from the side. Coach Killy is playing that Ymir Guardian, doesn't have any escape mechanics available to him. Easy pickings.
Man, Auzrik, I like this player. He's fun to watch, but he's definitely after. So very rarely do I talk skins up here in the SCL or the SPL, but you got to give it up for the Tay skin. I love this skin right here on Nemesis. And also, I just love the Nemesis pick in general. In a world where we're seeing sometimes 3 Guardians come out, here you have 2 Guardians and Thor, who's going to build tanky at least a little bit. Hold that thought, Gold Fury being attacked by Quantum, and this is what you expect their composition to do. Kraken comes out, but the Isis ultimate's there. Quantum get what they come for. Easy pickings. That is exactly why you select the Isis, the early Gold Furies. It goes down, Quantum push their lead to about 1,500.
Very early Kraken coming out of 50-meter fly, surprisingly enough. That Gold Fury was around 50% health when he threw that one out there. Normally you want to be able to time it during the circle of protection, trying to time when that's going to pop. Normally you want to do it around the 25% mark.
Big pop coming out from Predators and Athena. Down comes the damage on a Hyperionnn. He's about 30%, and 50-meter fly brings him down to 0. Coach Killy on the defensive, trying to retreat, but he's slowed, and Mr. Turtle's here to provide, well, kind of basics. Will he die under the tower is a different story, though. It's very early on, Killy, and I don't think the damage out of TMNT for Lyfe is there just yet.
Because of the pick earlier on to DineOhSaw in the Gold Fear, they didn't have the Relic of the Phantom to be able to save Hyperion's life in that last encounter. So great play from TMNT grouping up and at least getting something in return here.
So this play on the right side that we see this tower going down, is this related to the Gold Fury fight?
Absolutely, because without the Gold Fury being available, you always want to throw some more action furthest away from it in the solo side, especially when you have a Ymir that can't escape from that Odin cage.
So normally, it's I won't say it's Smite 101, maybe it's Smite 102, where when the Gold Fury goes down, the team that doesn't get the objective usually winds up pushing the mid-tier tower because the players use their abilities on the Gold Fury and then they retreat, and it's just enough time to sneak that tower. Why do we see TMNT grab the right side tower and kill instead of the push in the mid lane?
Well, depending on the positioning of the picks, it happened right around the speed and the blue buff area, so it's the shortest travel time to be able to get to that right tower. Not only that, we saw the dive onto Coach Killy trying to find that secondary kill. They couldn't really find it, but despite not finding the kill, Coach Killy had no mana, about 25% health. He had to go back, and that's technically as good enough as a kill anyway.
Half a kill. Yeah,
pretty much.
You're not getting the gold for it. You're not getting the denial of experience and farm, but that's what I like to affectionately call half a kill. Hyperionnn not going to show any affection, lands right on top of Auzrik and kills him before the dash comes out. 2 deaths already for the jungler on the side of TMNT for Lyfe. Predators takes a big chunk, but Coach Killy can't find the last hit. Raven Shield's going to protect Predators. He'll be safe and sound for the moment underneath his own tower.
Hyperionnn.
Yeesh. I don't know about that back, buddy.
Hyperionnn, he wants more potentially, but no, he uses his Berserker Barrage to clear the wave. But now the rotation has happened from TMNT. The Kraken picks off Hyperionnn. Predators is going to get stunned out. Circle of Protection, finding at least a return kill here.
Yeah, Predators definitely did not belong in that situation, but him sticking around for that long actually baits out Hyperionnn to stay. So Predators overstays his welcome, forcing Hyperionnn to overstay his welcome, which allows his team to rotate and get the kill. I don't think Predators needed to die there, but that's why you saw him stick around for so long, was because of that bait.
That's a party that's just well overdue. You know, this is the point in time where this is past the hours. People are calling the police for the noise complaints. They show up at your door, and then all of a sudden, getting traded.
TMNT's that guy. TMNT's that guy that shows up at 2 a.m. with a 36, and you're like, bro, just go home. It's far too late. You showed up after the fact. Predator's already on the floor. Come on now. TMNT have to speed up these rotations if they want to stay in the conversation. Quantum definitely still ahead by about that 1,500 that they picked up from that original Gold Fury. TMNT's been able to answer back a little bit. It was 1,700 precisely when the Gold Fury went down. So TMNT has been able to answer back with plays like we saw on the right side, picking up that tower and the kill. But when things are all even, we have to see, like I said, that faster rotation. TMNT can't show up at 3 a.m. a dollar short. Just not going to happen. Predators here, dealing with 2 players on the right-hand side, going to opt to walk towards the mid lane.
Still only the 10-minute mark, so not that big of a lead. Portal Demon and the Fire Giant has spawned. Mr. Turtle making his rotation along with DineOhSaw. Nice stun, double stun.
That's it. Long range setup from Sirduckbot, and that's the beauty of Isis. We focused a lot on the interaction of the Odin and how that's going to hurt her, but if Isis can stay away from Predators for the majority, and especially with him being relegated over there in the solo lane, that's not that difficult. She has so much control and really will be able to dictate where she wants her team to go ahead and attack. Right now, that option's going to be the Portal Demon.
Taking advantage of a Poseidon that did not have his purification beads with that circle protection, securing the Portal Demon. Another 750 gold. Nice little wall from Killy, but not connecting onto the freeze.
So as I said, TMNT have a mid-game team, which means that right now they realistically should be trying to find the lead, but they're unable to. Now, they have a little bit of lean on in the late game with Auzrik on that Nemesis, so she's not expected to be doing anything at 12 minutes like sort of everyone else on her team. But 0-2-2 right now for Nemesis is okay. When does that become not okay? Where do you need to start seeing Nemesis making work?
Starting in about 3 to 4 minutes, once these level 12s come online for Quantum, already Killy, Hyperionnn hitting level 12, as well as Joeeey. Soon to follow is going to be Duckbot. So not only is Auzrik a little bit behind in terms of getting his second relic, so is Predators and the rest of his team. And this could be a problem for TMNT because those double relics for Quantum, they're already winning these team fights without him.
Love the play from Duckbot again. Dash in from Turtle is going to be cut short by a nice stun. There's help from Turtle, and Turtle shuts down Duckbot, gets him right back for the control. Predator's going to die right there if it wasn't for the support of his support. Beautiful meditation prevents that last hit from the tower, taking down the Odin.
Surprisingly enough, Sirduckbot still fell despite the Phantom that was used by DineOhSaw. The dive from TMNT was just too real. Mr. Turtle was able to go really deep there along with Predators. These are the 2 tanky Guardian and Warrior frontliners that you really want to be able to dive there because of their base damage as well.
Mr. Turtle's playing this Athena very aggressive, looking for these offensive ultimates, which is really a treat. The offensive Athena ultimate is kind of like the offensive Giannis ultimate, where I'm usually mad at my teammate if he does it, but when you get the kill, nobody's complaining.
Especially when you lock people in the cage.
Exactly.
This is one of these wombo combos that you really want to, because not only is the Odin trapping in people, but on top of this, they're going to be focusing the Odin in return here. And so you're doing the damage anyway. You're going to be able to mitigate a lot of the incoming damage with that Defender of Olympus. But with those 2 picks, Quantum start the Gold Fury with Circle Protection.
Yeah, we saw this one more time. And that's going to be the Gold Fury going the way of Quantum. Hyperionnn takes to the sky right before it falls, and he's there more for defense than anything. TMNT for Life show up and they're like, man, we threw a Kraken at it last time and we still couldn't get the objective. What do you do here?
They just showed up a little bit too late yet again. The party was over. Quantum started it up and they ended it before TMNT could get in position. The cooldowns were not available for TMNT to really contest this second Gold Fury of the game. So they need to be able to ward around this Gold Fury, find the sentry wards aggressively, making sure that Quantum doesn't have any passive wards.
I mean, even still, even if they do show up there, I think that TMNT, at least 50-meter fly, they were in position for the first Gold Fury, and it was just
mistimed.
How do you deal with Sirduckbot's ultimate?
You just have to pray. You either kill him right off the bat to make sure that he doesn't use the ultimate, or you time the Kraken hoping that it's going to detonate the circle protection earlier.
And, I mean, that's a pipe dream. It really comes down to the fact that TMNT have to really look for these picks when it comes to the Gold Fury. A lot of times these teams will start the Gold Fury and be willing to peel off of it, but there's just no reason to do so when you have the circle of protection. So you're fighting almost an unwinnable fight there if you're going to fight the objective. So you fight the team, which is definitely a winnable objective. Either way, either you force out Sirduckbot's ult by way of battle, and then it's not available for the Gold Fury, and then you could make that contest, or you actually wipe them when you're trying to kill them. Either way, you wind up in a good spot.
And TMNT has the tools at their disposal to start these team fights. With Mr. Turtle playing the Athena, he can always look for these dash taunts, and that threat alone can easily force out purification beads, and then the next encounter is going to be another target.
And this right here, this is the moment of opportunity for TMNT. They're down 4K, give or take. Once this becomes 5 or 6,000, then you start having trouble fighting into what the opposition is going to be bringing. Then you start saying, Quantum, you're a little bit too strong for us to do what you want us to do. Whereas 4,000 gold, totally, I mean, TMNT, realistically, that doesn't impact the team fight as much as you want it to.
No, not at all. TMNT definitely did a good job last week as they won, and Quantum struggled a little bit earlier on, but this time it's looking like the complete opposite for both of these teams. Quantum, they got the second goal here of the game. They grouped up in the Tier 1 mid tower. No response at all from TMNT.
So there was 4 players grouped up there in the middle lane, and Athena backed. Quantum didn't see the Athena back even, I'm not sure. I didn't see Predators there either. He just gets blown up. But Quantum right there, that's the equivalent of TMNT just leaving the front door unlocked. Quantum walked up and said, all right, we're going to walk up here with the minions and they're going to fight and they're going to push us back, but they just didn't. What was TMNT doing that allowed Quantum to take that tower?
So there's pros and cons of Mr. Turtle backing as an Athena. Obviously, you can always ulti back into the team fight, and hitting level 12, she wanted to be able to get her second relic, but the problem was there was no other frontliner to go in there with the Athena ultimate. You don't want to be able to bait out your squishies to do that for you.
I'm sorry, Tully, but I got to bring this one up. Quantum just get another free objective. TMNT, I said before, 4,000 gold is not... So if Quantum are ahead 10,000, I have no qualms with what TMNT are doing. They're just sitting on their hands, letting the game come to, not them, but their opponent. Here, though, they were down 4,000 at the time, now 5K, because Quantum has just gotten these objectives for free. Straight up, what gives? Why are TMNT just lying down and letting Quantum have it?
It's the timing of these objectives that Quantum are initiating them. After the pick onto Predators, they were able to have a 5-on-4 power play advantage to be able to start up that objective. Duckbot should be fine here with the sustain from DineOhSaw and the shell. Aegis being popped as well. Kraken is not going to be centered, so Duckbot walking right away from the thick of things and talking back about that last engagement until Predators showing his face. The blink, the slow, finding the pop, goes the bubble.
Needed that kill. Absolutely imperative that TMNT get that pick right there. Not only is that going to take that threat away for the moment, but it's going to allow TMNT to get a win. And sometimes you just need that moral victory more than anything else, Tully.
And before that, Quantum now with a 4-on-5 disadvantage here in the mid lane, trying to retaliate for their previously lost Tier 1 tower. This is going to be easy for TMNT with a player advantage, but the sustain from DineOhSaw should keep everybody topped off.
They got to watch out for Coach Killy, though. He does have a lot of burst in that kit, and up to the sky goes Hyperionnn. He's going to land down on a whole slew of players. Ultimate out of the Ymir, not going to do enough damage, but it will chase out Predators for the most part. Athena's out of the fight as well, but does have the ultimate available. Shield back to base and come right on back. But like you said, Toli, there's no front line for her to ult to. You can't bait out your squishies, and with Predators already out of the conversation, this is a non-fight. Quantum successfully defend their tower, down a man, 5-on-4, and they're going to walk to the Gold Fury.
Absolutely, why not? Sirduckbot has revived, circle protection is available, the whips keeping up Kelly alive a little bit slightly, getting lower and lower, around 20% health, but Turtle was not in position to find the steal, so instead, looking for the taunt Kraken setup onto Killy.
You trade your solo lane Ymir for the Gold Fury, Tully?
Third Gold Fury of the game, yes. At this point, this is getting more and more valuable. Starting off at 190 gold per player as soon as it spawns, and then 8 gold per minute afterwards is definitely very beneficial here. It's already a 6,000 gold lead for Quantum.
Look at this graph real quick, because it just perfectly illustrates. 9.5, you see that little small jut down. That's 150. That's 1,500 gold. And then you see at 1422, boom, a bigger jut down. That's another Gold Fury. And then at third, right there at 1916 or whatever we're at right now, that's the Gold Fury that just passed. You can visually see where Quantum got their lead. A lot of times these games become more complex. It's about the invades in the jungle. It's about small gold here, small gold there. This is very much Quantum picked Isis, and they got 3 Gold Furies because of it. And TMNT don't know how to deal.
Still a seesaw battle here between these two teams because TMNT recognized circle protection is not available, trying to get this left one tower, but Hyperion's in the sky.
And he's going to catch out the flank. Predators try to get crafty, but he's the one that's going to be all arts and crafts. Watch out for that wall. Coach Killy tries to block him in, but he just can't. Still chases the jungler out of the team fight. Tier 1 tower does go down. Joeeey picks up Mr. Turtle. I asked before about the solo for the Gold Fury. The support for the Tier 1?
Still worth it, I feel like, especially trying to get Sirduckbot out of position there. Left him at about 1% health. So now he had to go back to the fountain just to make sure he wouldn't die. And that travel time to go all the way back to this next Tier 1 tower on the left-hand side, not going to be able to really synergize with pushing down that tower. But it seems that TMNT not going to defend it. Instead, trying to push down mid, but it's going to be Duckbot and Hyperionnn defending this very successfully.
Yeah, with Duckbot and Hyperionnn, Duckbot's level 14 right now, and the enemy jungle is the same level as him. So Isis is just going to be able to control this Nemesis just with boots and the Jotuns. Not quite tanky enough to play that warrior role, not quite damage dealing enough to play that assassin role. Auzrik right now is still just biding his time.
A Nemesis that gets behind is just a little rough around the edges. It's not one of those jungler guys that you necessarily want behind because unless you have full CDR and you just throw out those ultimates and then the rest of your team can capitalize, you just become an ult bot at that point.
And I mean, one, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's sort of the Hun Bat's life, right? You have a very specific deal for your ult. Like I said, I like the Nemesis pick because of the meta that we're in. We're seeing constantly almost 3 Guardians picked. Here, the Thor not quite building too tanky, just 1 defensive item after the Jotun's Wrath, but the Ymir and the Sylvanus are certainly going to be the tanky targets. Auzrik trying to play Stealer, but he ain't robbing that one. There comes the circle of protection one more time. Down comes Hyperionnn after the Kraken. Great play there, but Welshbeastq is the one that takes the kill, uses the ultimate to take down Coach Killy.
Quantum has gotten every single neutral objective in the game, but TMNT still respond with a kill yet again, and this is the point in time where the respawn timers is going to slightly get extended, so this should give an advantage for TMNT at least to finally get this Tier 1 tower in the mid lane for the second time. DineOhSaw is not grouped up to be able to sustain his team.
DineOhSaw finally joins the situation, but it's a double taunt, a double jump coming in from the Odin. Joeeey, where you at? Welshbeastq sends him back to the fountain. Tier 1 tower gonna fall here. That one goes to TMNT for Lyfe, inching closer to the lead that Quantum has, still trailing by about 5K, but looking to cut that even shorter. Beautiful ring. That's going to work out perfectly. Down comes Athena, and down goes Hyperionnn. Welshbeastq picks up Duckbot, still 5 alive. Coach Killy tries to get the kill, but a nice dash saves Auzrik for the moment. Killy now gets ulted. That's the target you want to find Nemesis on, and down he goes. Welshbeastq puts a dozen on the board, and Quantum had the lead right now, still controlling it, but TMNT take the momentum right out of the sails.
No Phantom for DineOhSaw that second time around. Easy dive for Predators, and this is why he picks this Odin. First pick right immediately in the draft phase. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a Fire Giant attempt here, Tom, because it's a 5-on-2. Only DineOhSaw is alive with Joeeey, and neither of them are even close to defending this one.
I'm just concerned about the level of health here for the guys on TMNT. This is one of those plays where you feel like you have to go for the Fire Giant. You got the opening, you've been trailing for so long.
Auzrik messed up. He mistimed his shield against the fire. If he saved the shield, then maybe he could have stayed here, but Welshbeastq making the rotation. Still Fire Giant going in the way of TMNT. And just like that, Quantum, they lose the most important objective of the game, the Fire Giant.
Every single neutral objective on the map goes to Quantum except the 23-minute Fire Giant. And honestly, with the sequence that we just saw, Gold Fury goes down, and I'll hold my statement until we see the gold come out.
Oh, the steal!
It gets snatched! The Kraken takes away the life of the support and the life away from the entire team with a single Gold Fury. TMNT tie the game. 700 means nothing right now, Toli. It's the Baker's dozen with 13 kills versus Quantum 6. TMNT for Lyfe. It's very interesting. They've a mid-game team all throughout their entire composition, with the exception of Auzrik, who's done pretty much nothing for the entirety of the game. And then this fight underneath the tower. Wide slice and dice slows everybody down to allow predators to come through with the ring and trap everyone. Then Coach Killy, everybody's about 20% HP. This Ymir can kill everybody, but he gets nem-ulted and smoked out. Auzrik right now, he hasn't had any impact until the absolute impact he needed to make, which allows his team to tie the game and potentially take the lead here in the left lane.
It's just so unfortunate for Quantum. After every objective, they just lost one member. That gave enough of a window here. TMNT diving the back yet again.
Love the early frenzy here, folks. This is going to allow TMNT to fight into what used to be a lead, but Quantum is going to play defense and try to maintain it. Down goes Mr. Turtle. So without a support, can TMNT take the Firebird? They answer yes. Predators answers on the backside, can't get the kill, but Welshbeastq does, and Predators finally answers. Welshbeastq falls down, but he's done his job already. DineOhSaw's fantastic Aegis saves him.
Predators, he went too deep. He didn't find the kill, and now he's going to sacrifice his own life for it. Now, granted, TMNT get the left Phoenix successfully with this Fire Giant buff. It's going to be able to start flooding in some of these Fire Minions on the most important lane in the game, the furthest one away from the Fire Giant. So that way, once that buff respawns in 3 minutes or so, that's going to be very troublesome for Quantum, because they're going to have to start defending their left Phoenix that's going to be respawned with half health.
Play your lead. When you have a lead, make sure that you're able to know that you do and fight into your opponent accordingly. Take fights that you couldn't take normally. Make your opponent force your opponent to make decisions that they shouldn't have to, because they're down gold and they can't do it. But at the same time, don't let your lead play you. Don't get so far ahead of yourself that you think that you are indestructible. Predators right there, let his lead play him. They took down they got momentum. His mid laner took that Gold Fury. We don't have listen-ins, but I'm telling you right now, this team is hooting and hollering. They were down 5 digits. It was a 10,000 gold lead, I think, at one point, or at least almost so. Look at that, 8,000 or so. And now they answer back. They get Fire Giant. They're just one leg down. 50-meter fly ties the game with a single ability. They wipe him on the left side, get a Phoenix, and Predators dives a fountain. You just got a little bit too excited there, and right now this is the reset. Very important for TMNT to sort of come back, resituate themselves, and now siege one more time. This time the right side will be the target. There's still a tower remaining.
Trying to dive the backline, Mr. Turtle finding a double taunt. The Kraken coming out, jumping into the fray is Odin. The Petrify finding 2, circle protection, trying to mitigate some of that damage, but still the anti-sustain coming out.
And there's the spin to win. On to DineOhSaw, still 50% for the support, relatively healthy as Joeeey takes out the Odin on the backside. Welshbeastq finally takes down the tree. And the tier 2 tower will be the target. Quantum full retreat, 1,500 gold in the pocket for TMNT. And they're going to take the lead right here. 27 minutes on the clock. TMNT leading 18-10 as far as the kills are concerned. And the gold telling the same story. Beats forced out onto Joeeey by Mr. Turtle's taunt. Great play. Hyperionnn lands down, hitting nobody. But he makes a statement, landing right in front of the basic attacks out of Welshbeastq to protect the Phoenix. It's just going to be a momentary relapse, however, as the Phoenix eventually goes down. Welshbeastq forced to use the Aegis, but he should live.
Double tap, not on the mark on the second return hand side. TMNT still had Fire Giant for the right side push, finding a beautiful double taunt originally onto Coach Killy, and another member allowing 50-meter fly to find a very easy kill, with Predators also diving the backline with that cage. Despite the Phantom being used from DineOhSaw, that circuit protection still didn't apply the healing for those members that were unfortunately still stuck in that cage.
What you're seeing right here for TMNT for Lyfe is that the late game shift. Earlier, they're supposed to win the game off of Odin, Athena, and the mid lane Poseidon. That's how they're supposed to win these games. But Quantum threw them for a loop and just took away all the Gold Furies. And so TMNT couldn't really fight in that mid game because they were down 6,000 gold on average. Now as we reach the late game, now it's Auzrik. He's the band director, and he's going to say, kill this guy in particular. He ults him, then in comes Fly, in comes Turtle, in comes Predators, and whatever HP that character had, regardless of how tanky they are, It's just not there any longer. TMNT have this beautiful option select in their composition, and we're seeing that select come out in the late game.
It's not just Auzrik with the ultimate that's going to set up his teammates, but specifically setting up 50-meter fly. And shout-outs to this Poseidon player as well, because despite the lackluster Kraken that he did in the first Gold Fury attempt steal, he's able to still be on top of the player damage charts, and on top of that, he gets a crucial Gold Fury steal for the 4th Gold Fury of the game, making sure that his team, after they got Fire Giant, they wouldn't give anything back in return to Quantum. They decided, you know what, this party is still going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going till the early morn here in our first game of the day. TMNT for Life trying to come up with the sun, and Mr. Turtle certainly leading the charge here. Left side, Phoenix has respawned, and TMNT for Life want to take it down one more time. Auzrik going to separate himself from the squad here in the jungle. Everybody else finally grouping up. It's a 5-man push from TMNT for Life. They just got the Fire Giant totally. This is their push.
Hyperionn's in the mid lane. He wants to be able to try to defend the mid as well as look for that global satellite ultimate. Nice taunt, and the Kraken with the Nemesis ultimate deleted as Killy.
That's what it is. Pick one guy in particular. This time it's the Ymir, and he's going to fall down. He's halfway dead. Beautiful. Everybody getting hit by the Petrify. Still not dead just yet. Welshbeastq turns his basics into the jungler. Hyperionnn falls down in queue with the Phoenix. Now it's the Titan. Here comes Predators. It's an all-in on the objective, and this one's going down so fast. Joeeey takes out the Odin, but it's too late. 20-11 with a half hour on the clock. And TMNT for Life take the win.
Just like that. They were down for maybe 21, 22 minutes in the beginning of the game, and all it took was one pick, and from there, they just ran away with it. They went into mid, found even more picks, finding the cage without the Phantom, which was a very important part of their play.
It's that initial D gear shift right there. You're seeing them just sort of tread water, playing around with their mid-game composition, and then all of a sudden, Auzrik goes, I'm good, and everybody just starts getting taken out with that combination. Just so much burst damage, even out of the Hunter. We saw a few Petrifies really come in clutch there for Welshbeastq, and TMNT is a team that had a lot of steam behind them in the past. Coming out here, looked like Sirduckbot and the crew might have been able to topple them, but Welshbeastq still putting on a show. Coming out on top first team here on the Medusa, absolutely putting on a clinic.
Absolutely. The last Petrify of the game definitely put a staple for TMNT, showing how they truly dominated that triple Petrify. It did force a Purification Beast, but at that point, it didn't really matter. They had the Fire Giant, they had the right side Phoenix being pushed, the left side as well, and just all the plays, all the players as well. Welshbeastq was following up off of his aggressive frontliner. We saw Predators get some beautiful cages, and this was the play, this was the turnaround play here. After that one initial pick onto Killy, this allowed this dive under the tier 2 mid tower for TMNT.
Look up at the top. I know you guys are looking at the play, but it's still a 6,000 gold lead for Quantum. A couple of kills shortened into 5, and now the next sequence we see, it's a tie game. Bang, in comes Welshbeastq, and this is what I was talking about. Auzrik just picked a guy. He just picks somebody, down comes the ultimate, and you see everything come together. The ring, the Kraken, the Athena ultimate, and whoever was once standing there just doesn't do so any longer. And
this was the play.
Petrify.
That was that triple Petrify stun that just made it look oh so pretty. Even finding the kill onto Hyperionnn just for good measure. TMNT finding the first win of the game thus far, putting themselves in a really good position.
Absolutely looking very strong. As we head